Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next hour. India rejects Pakistan's claims on minority attacks on Indian soil, calls Islamabad's statement misleading and an attempt to deflect global scrutiny from its own abysmal record. China launches live fire drills around Taiwan, simulating blockade of major ports as the island vows to defend its democracy. Russia aims to gain full control of Donbas and Zaporozhye, hints at another Trump-Putin call. And Australia to remove tariffs on all Indian exports from January 1st under the India-Australia Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement, announces India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal. India on Monday rejected Pakistan's criticism of alleged incidents of violence against minorities on Indian soil, calling Islamabad's statement misleading and an attempt to deflect global scrutiny from its own dismal track record. Responding to media queries, Ministry of External Affairs MEA official spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal dismissed the remarks as politically motivated. He asserted that Pakistan, with its history of persecution and forced displacement of Hindus, Christians, Sikhs, Ahmadiyas and other minority communities, lacks the credibility to lecture others. The reaction came after Pakistan's Foreign Office spokesperson on Monday expressed concern over reported acts of vandalism and violence targeting Christian and Muslim communities in India and urged the international community to ensure the protection of vulnerable groups. Leaders from the United States and Ukraine reported progress towards a peace framework to end the Russia-Ukraine conflict after talks in Florida. President Trump said negotiations were complex, but they were advancing, while Zelensky highlighted the agreed security guarantees for Kiev. Territorial disputes, especially Donbas, remain unresolved as European allies cautiously welcome the dialogue, while diplomats plan further meetings in Europe in early January 2026. Mohammad Absarul Hassan has filed this report.
Leaders from the United States and Ukraine announced significant progress towards a potential peace agreement to end Russia-Ukraine war following high-level talks at US President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. In a joint news conference after their talks, President Trump asserted that the peace agreement is getting closer. He described ongoing negotiations as very complicated stuff and noted that while the framework of a peace deal is largely agreed, a few thorny and difficult questions, especially over territory, still stand in the way of final pact.
I think we're closer than we were. Probably it's unresolved, but it's getting a lot closer. That's a very tough issue, but one that I think will get resolved.
Zelensky said his team and US negotiators had aligned on the broader structure of the peace plan and agreed that the security guarantees for the Ukraine were a milestone in achieving lasting peace.
Prosperity plan being finalized, and we also discussed the sequencing of the following actions. And we agree that security guarantees is the key milestone in achieving lasting peace, and our teams will continue working on all aspects.
Despite the tone of cautious optimism, the fate of the Eastern Donbas region and other territorial questions remain sticking points. Trump highlighted that the disputes over land, which Russia insists on controlling and Ukraine vehemently opposes ceding, are among the toughest issues yet to be resolved. The meeting also followed a phone call between Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin, which Trump described as productive. While in the meeting of top commanders, Russian President Vladimir Putin has stressed that Russia must continue offensive operation to gain full control of Donbas region and city of Zaporizhia.
We all understand that liberating Seversk and effective operations in Kostiantynivka allow our forces to create conditions for further
Конечно, в
advances and
ближайшее
for
время
taking the
необходимо
entire
продолжить
Sloviansk,
наступление
Druzhkivka
совместно с
and
группировкой
Kramatorsk
«Восток» по
agglomeration, seizing the
освобождению
whole
Запорожья.
enemy defensive line there, and in coordination with the Zapad West and Center groups to fully liberate Donbas region.
Germany has welcomed US President Donald Trump's efforts toward achieving a lasting and just peace in Ukraine.
We welcome President Trump's commitment to seeking a just and lasting peace in Ukraine that preserves Ukrainian sovereignty and European security. However, one thing is clear, it is up to Moscow to end the war. Without Russia, peace is not possible, and we certainly perceive a certain difference between what the Russian president allegedly says in talks and what is publicly announced, or what has happened again over Christmas with attacks on Ukraine.
Analysts and war leaders have reacted to the talks with guarded support. Several European officials, including French President Emmanuel Macron, acknowledged progress while emphasizing the need for a robust security framework and a durable ceasefire. An international meeting with allied nations is expected in Paris in early January to build on the momentum and work through unresolved issues. Mohammad Absarul Hassan for DD India.
Tensions between the United States and Venezuela are on the rise again. Washington has stepped up its military presence near the Caribbean, while President Nicolas Maduro has issued a strong warning, saying his armed forces are ready to defend the nation if challenged.
The year 2025 is coming to an end, and these dance moves of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro are hard to miss, especially when his country is at loggerheads with the United States. More US military planes have arrived in Puerto Rico as tensions continue to rise. C-130J Super Hercules aircraft were seen taxiing and taking off from the Rafael Hernandez Airport in Aguadilla. American ground vehicles including Humvees and mine-resistant ambush-protected trucks were also spotted in the area. Washington has been building up a large military presence in the Caribbean in recent weeks, deploying an aircraft carrier, fighter jets, and several warships close to Venezuela. Meanwhile, in La Guera, President Maduro attended a year-end salute to the armed forces. He praised Venezuela's military as invincible warriors, even receiving a .50 caliber sniper rifle during the ceremony.
Today, our armed forces are more prepared than ever to continue winning peace, sovereignty, and territorial integrity for our people. In 2025, the power of the Venezuelan nation has been consolidated. It has not been consolidated in a book, in theory, or in a speech. It has been consolidated on the ground. Popular power is now expanded and stronger than ever.
The US accuses Venezuela of sending drugs into American territory. For months, the US has targeted and bombed boats it claims were carrying narcotics from South America. And the situation escalated further when the US seized Venezuelan oil tankers earlier this month. Experts see this as part of sanctions aimed at pressuring Maduro's government, but Caracas calls it economic aggression. So tensions between the US and Venezuela remain high, with no clear signs of the standoff easing anytime soon. Abhishek Bose for DD India.
Tensions resurfaced between Thailand and Cambodia on Monday after Bangkok accused Phnom Penh of violating a ceasefire with drone incursions along the border. Cambodia downplayed the allegation, calling it a minor issue, even as regional powers pushed for restraint and dialogue.
Thailand on Monday accused Cambodia of violating a newly signed ceasefire by flying more than 250 drones across the border. The Thai army says the alleged drone activity occurred just days after both sides agreed to halt deadly clashes. The fresh accusation has raised doubts over the durability of the truce. The Thai army said on Monday more than 250 unmanned aerial vehicles were detected flying from the Cambodian side, intruding into Thailand's sovereign territory on Sunday night. It said such actions constitute provocation and a violation of measures aimed at reducing tensions, agreed during Saturday's bilateral meeting. However, Cambodian Foreign Minister downplayed the incident, calling it a small issue related to flying drones seen by both sides along the borderline. He said both countries had discussed the matter and agreed to investigate and resolve it immediately. The conflict flared again after July clashes that killed dozens and displaced over a million people. Earlier, truces brokered by the United States, China, and ASEAN chair Malaysia have repeatedly collapsed. China has again urged both sides to rebuild trust and stabilize the region. Despite renewed ceasefire commitments, tensions remain high along the disputed border. Thailand has warned it may reconsider releasing captured Cambodian soldiers. Nancy Baloda's report for DD India.
3 Turkish police officers were killed during an operation against the Islamic State group in northwest Turkey. The deadly operation took place on Monday in Yalova, a city located on the Sea of Marmara, during one of several coordinated raids targeting suspected Islamic State militants. Authorities said 3 police officers lost their lives, while 9 other people were injured during the clashes. Turkey has intensified such operations amid security concerns linked to its long border with Syria, as officials remain alert to possible cross-border militant infiltration.
During an operation carried out at an address on Seher Street in Ismet Pasa neighborhood, our heroic police officers came under fire from ISIS terrorists. As a result of this treacherous attack, unfortunately, 3 of our heroic police officers were martyred. 8 of our police officers and 1 watchman were also injured in the attack. In the ensuing clash, 6 terrorists were neutralized. These terrorists were Turkish citizens.
Saldırıda 8 polisimiz ve bir bekçimiz.
Kosovo's ruling party secured victory after a year-long political impasse and delayed key international funding. Prime Minister Albin Kurti's party won more than half of the votes in Sunday's election. The vote is the second this year in Kosovo after Kurti's party fell short of a majority in February. Months of failed coalition talks prompted President Vojislav Osmani to dissolve parliament in November and call an early election. Kurti's party leads with 87% of the votes counted. Analysts say it is difficult to predict if Kurti will be able to form the government on its own without a coalition to secure the 61 seats in the 120-seat assembly. Although Kurti promised he will swiftly form a new government, signalling a possible end to the year-long political impasse that has paralyzed parliament and delayed key international funding.
Once the results will be certified by Central Election Commission, we should swiftly constitute a parliament out of 10th legislature and then form immediately new government.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has overseen a long-range strategic cruise missile launching drill. The launch underscores Pyongyang's continued focus on advancing its military capabilities. The missile drill, conducted on Sunday, is part of a series of high-profile activities led by Kim Jong-un ahead of a key ruling party congress expected in early 2026. The Congress is set to outline North Korea's development priorities for the next 5 years, covering both military and economic goals. State media last week also reported that Kim observed construction work on a nuclear-powered submarine, signaling continued emphasis on strengthening strategic assets. You're watching DD India News Hour, still to come on the show. Bangladesh Nationalist Party's Tariq Rahman files nomination papers to contest election in February. India's Defence Acquisition Council clears proposals worth crores to enhance defence preparedness. And India's factory output surges to a 2-year high in November.
geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I am Tanvi Taneja. We now take a close look at what is happening in India's immediate neighbour, Bangladesh. Amid continued reports of volatility, Tariq Rahman of the Bangladesh Nationalist Party filed nomination papers to contest elections in February. Media reports claimed that two accused in Osman Hadi's murder allegedly entered the northeastern Indian state of Meghalaya. India rebuffed the claim, terming it false, fabricated and misleading.
India rebuffed several Bangladeshi media reports claiming two accused in the student leader Sharif Osman Hadi's murder had entered India. BSF chief in Meghalaya, IG OP Upadhyay, said that the claims are completely false, fabricated and misleading, and there is no evidence to support them.
On Hadi's killing, even before a proper investigation was conducted or investigation started, the Bangladesh government was very quick to blame India and say that the killers had escaped to India. But Meghalaya police as well as BSF have said that they are not in India, they have not arrested anybody. In fact, Bangladesh also claimed that they have arrested somebody. So the point here is that, before making investigations, before actually going through the whole issue, the government has been making these allegations against India, and we saw that this did escalate into a lot of tension between our two countries.
Meanwhile, BNP acting chairman Tariq Rahman submitted his nomination papers on Monday for the Dhaka 17 constituency on the final day of filing nominations for the 13th national parliamentary election. Situation in Bangladesh is tense. Amid this tension, traders staged an anti-extortion human chain in Dhaka's Karwa Bazaar area on Monday. Witnesses said around 150 to 200 traders under the banner of Islamia Shanti Samiti formed the human chain in front of the Karwa Bazaar kitchen market in the morning as part of a pre-announced program protesting alleged extortion. Later, the police rushed to the spot and brought the situation under control. With inputs, Naval Sangh Parmar's report for DD India from Dhaka.
India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal announced on Monday that from January 1st next year, 100% of Australian tariff lines will become zero duty for Indian exports, opening new opportunities for labour-intensive sectors. Marking the third anniversary of the India-Australia Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement, Goyal said the pact has led to sustained export growth, improved market access and stronger supply chain resilience. He noted that India's exports to Australia grew by 8% in 2024-25, helping improve the trade balance. The minister highlighted strong export gains in manufacturing, chemicals, textiles, plastics, pharmaceuticals, petroleum products and gems and jewellery, with the latter registering a 16% rise between April and November. He added that agri-exports also saw broad-based growth, particularly in fruits and vegetables, marine products, spices and coffee. The Defence Acquisition Council, DAC, chaired by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, has approved a range of procurement proposals for the three armed services, with the total value pegged at around 79,000 crore rupees. The DAC accorded acceptance of necessity, or AON, for the procurement of loiter munition system for artillery regiments, low-level lightweight radars, long-range guided rocket ammunition for Pinaka multiple launch rocket system, an integrated drone detection and interdiction system Mark II for the Indian Navy. For the Indian Navy, AON was accorded for procurement of bollard pull tugs, high-frequency software-defined radios manpack, and for leasing high-altitude, long-range, remotely piloted aircraft system. For the Indian Air Force, AON was approved for procurement of automatic takeoff landing recording system, Astra Mark II missiles, full mission simulator and Spice 1000 long-range guidance kits, and so on. India is accelerating its clean energy transition at an unprecedented pace, achieving major climate milestones years ahead of schedule. The country has crossed the halfway mark in non-fossil power capacity and is emerging as a global leader in renewable energy growth. In line with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's COP26 vision, India is moving steadily towards its goal of 500 gigawatt non-fossil energy capacity by 2030. India reached 50% non-fossil power capacity in June 2025, 5 years ahead of its Paris Agreement target. India's non-fossil installed capacity reached 262.74 gigawatt, or 51.5% of the total installed electricity capacity in November this year. India's solar energy leads growth with 132.85 gigawatt installed, crossing 100 gigawatt in January 2025 and recording over 41% annual increase. Wind power crossed 50 gigawatt, reaching 53.99 gigawatt, with capacity addition rising significantly this year. India's industrial production grew at a two-year high of 6.7% in November this year, driven by strong performances in mining and manufacturing, mainly on account of order pile-up following a cut in GST rates. The factory output, measured in terms of the Index of Industrial Production, IIP, had expanded by 5% in November last year. Ahead of the festivals, GST rates were cut on a host of consumer items effective from 22nd September this year to boost demand and consumption in the country. This led to piling of manufacturing orders to get benefit of GST rate reduction. The National Statistics Office data showed that the manufacturing sector's output grew by 8% in November this year from 5.5% in the year-ago month. Mining production rose by 5.4% against a growth of 1.9% recorded a year ago. As per the use-based classification, the capital goods segment grew 10.4% in November, up from 8.9% in the year-ago period. A State Bank of India report states that Viksit Bharat Guarantee for Rozgar and Ajivika Mission, or Viksit Bharat G-Ram-G Act, is expected to make most states net gainers of about 17,000 crore rupees compared to the average allocation over the past 7 years. The Act replaces the 20-year-old MG Narega 2005 and aims to improve overall fund distribution to states. Authored by SBI Chief Economic Advisor Dr. Soumya Kanti Ghosh, the report highlights that the new framework focuses on better project selection, productive asset creation, higher income generation, and stronger monitoring. The Act also seeks to address structural weaknesses while enhancing transparency, planning, and accountability. Passed by Parliament in the winter session and the assent granted by President Draupadi Murmu, the Act increases guaranteed wage employment from 100 to 125 days per rural household. India celebrates the year of reforms with the growing might of our armed forces, a force not just for defence but for regional stability and technological leadership. India's military is undergoing a fundamental shift, moving from a major global importer to a strategic security provider, a transformation built on the three core pillars: integration, innovation and self-reliance. DD India's Vishal Baristo reports.
India is rapidly embracing tri-service integration, creating a unified, agile fighting machine. This jointness is led by the Chief of Defence Staff, whose primary mandate is to achieve synergy across all domains: land, air and sea. The ongoing formation of integrated theatre commands is consolidating assets from all three services under a single commander for any given war zone. This ensures a faster, more effective response. The success of tri-service integration was quite evident during the clinical strikes on the terror camps in Pakistan during Operation Sindoor.
हमारी सेना ने वो करके दिखाया जो कई दशकों तक कभी हुआ नहीं था। सैकड़ों किलोमीटर दुश्मन की धरती पर घुस करके आतंकी इमारतों को खंडहर बना दिया। पाकिस्तान में हुई तबाही इतनी बड़ी है कि रोज नए-नए खुलासे हो रहे हैं।
Operation Sindoor was launched in response to cross-border terror attacks from Pakistan. It was a display of calibrated, non-escalatory force. A precise and strategic attack, avoiding conventional escalation while delivering a clear message. India had a clear technology edge. What stood out was the minimal use of external assets. The operation was a milestone in India's journey towards self-reliance, relying heavily on indigenous high-tech systems like long-range drones, guided munitions and electronic warfare assets. Reports indicate that this precision-led campaign successfully dismantled terror infrastructure and neutralized key air defense systems, all completed without the loss of a single Indian asset. It was a victory of technological self-reliance in modern air warfare.
Because of our strikes, there have been radars at least 4 places, command and control centers at 2 places, runway, of course, damaged at 2 places. Then 3 of their hangars in 3 different stations have been damaged. And in that hangar as well as on tarmac, we have signs of one C-130 class of aircraft, one AEW&C class of aircraft, and at least 4 to 5 fighter aircraft, most likely F-16, because that base happened to be F-16.
Mega exercises like Trishul and the increasing adoption of Tri-Services Education Corps are standardizing doctrine and training, cementing an integrated defense shield. India's Navy is integrating advanced interceptor missiles like the AD-1 and AD-2 onto frontline warships, giving us a layered ballistic missile defense. BMD shield, covering land, air and now the sea. This is the definition of multi-domain jointness. During Operation Sindoor, the aggressive posturing by the Indian Navy pushed back Pakistan.
Immediate actions which we took, including the deployment of carrier battle group in the Northern Arabian Sea, forced the Pakistan Navy to remain either in their ports or airports or close to Makran coast, and they never ventured out.
The push for Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant India, has transformed the defense industrial base into an engine of growth and global supply. Indigenous defense production hit a record over $18 billion in the last fiscal. India grows from just an importer to exporter. Defense exports surged to a record rupees 23,622 crores, approximately $2.76 billion. India now exports defense equipments and weapons to over 100 countries. Export portfolio include Tejas and Akash. India targets 50,000 crores in defense exports by 2029. India's defense might is not just measured by the number of soldiers or planes, but by the integrated spirit of our forces, the precision of our strategy, and the confidence born from domestic innovation. From the mountains to the seas, our forces are unified, future-ready, and a guarantor of peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific.
The year 2025 comes to an end, but the journey is not yet over. As the Prime Minister says, Operation Sindoor continues. And so, enemy beware, because Indian armed forces are always ready to meet any eventuality. With cameraman Rajesh Ricky in Delhi, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India.
Still to come on DD India News Hour. An expert take on China's war games around Taiwan over the years. And India successfully conducts maiden flight test of Pinaka long-range guided rocket system. Thank you for staying with us on DD India News Hour. I am Tanvi Taneja. India is set to host the AI Impact Summit from 15th to 20th February 2026 in New Delhi. Addressing media in New Delhi on Monday, Secretary in the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, S. Krishnan, said that the summit will witness participation from over 100 countries.
India would host the next AI Summit, and that is to be held in the week from 15th to 20th of February 2026. And as we have emphasized a number of times, it is the summit has been called the AI Impact Summit. Also, the scale of many of these summits has grown considerably. In the initial summit, we had about 27 countries which participated, including India. By the time we came to France, it was about 100 plus countries participating in various forms. And that number we expect to better this year in terms of better in the next summit in February 26.
Let's now take a look at other stories making news in India. The maiden flight test of the Pinaka long-range guided rocket LRGR-120 was successfully conducted on Monday at the Integrated Test Range Chandipur in Baleshwar district of Odisha. The rocket was tested for its maximum range of 120 kilometers, demonstrating all in-flight maneuvers as planned. Air India Express on Monday launched its monthly payday sale, offering special fares across its domestic routes starting from 1,950 rupees and international network starting from 5,590 rupees. The flight bookings at these special fares are open on the airline's website and mobile app, as well as on all major booking channels until 1st of January 2026. Students of the Indian Institute of Technology or IIT Delhi have secured a total of 1,275 job offers, including pre-placement offers as part of the ongoing placement season. Over 1,100 individual students have been placed so far. More than 300 pre-placement offers were received this year, up more than 33% from last year. Still to come on DD India News Hour. Prime Minister Modi hails INSV Kaundinya, the engineless ship sailing from Porbandar to Muscat. Mumbai clinched its third straight win with a dominant 9-wicket victory over Chhattisgarh in the Vijay Hazare Trophy. And India's passion for fast-paced basketball lit up Delhi at the Harish Sharma 3x3 All India Championship 2025, showcasing emerging talent.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Johar.
Johar.
अरे it fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I am Tanvi Taneja. INSV Kaundinya, the Navy's pioneering stitched sailing vessel built using traditional techniques, is undertaking its maiden overseas voyage to Oman on Monday. INSV Kaundinya has no engine, metal or modern propulsion. The project was undertaken through a tripartite agreement between the Ministry of Culture, the Indian Navy and Hodi Innovations as part of India's efforts to rediscover and revive indigenous knowledge systems. Inspired by ancient Indian shipbuilding traditions, the voyage highlights India's rich seafaring legacy, naval heritage and cultural links with the Indian Ocean region. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated the designers, artisans, shipbuilders and the Indian Navy for their dedicated efforts in bringing INSV Kaundinya to life as it embarks on her maiden voyage from Porbandar to Muscat, Oman. The Prime Minister posted on X, and I quote him, "Wonderful to see that INSV Kaundinya is embarking on a maiden voyage from Porbandar to Muscat, Oman. Built using the ancient Indian stitched shipbuilding technique, this ship highlights India's rich maritime traditions. I congratulate the designers, artisans, shipbuilders and the Indian Navy for their dedicated efforts in bringing this unique vessel to life. My best wishes to the crew for a safe and memorable journey as they retrace our historic links with the Gulf region and beyond." India's northern state Himachal Pradesh is set to see a change in weather as a western disturbance may bring light rain and snowfall to mid and the high hilly regions from December 31st to January 2nd. The Met Office issued a yellow alert for several districts, warning of a sharp drop in daytime temperatures. Officials say the prolonged dry spell has severely impacted agriculture and horticulture, with some natural lakes beginning to freeze now.
Mid and high hilly regions of Himachal Pradesh may receive light rain or snowfall between December 31st and January 2nd. According to the Weather Office, following a continuous dry spell of over a month, a western disturbance is likely to affect the western Himalayas to change the weather in the region.
Championships are crucial for talent identification and grassroots development. They provide young players with competitive exposure and a pathway to the international stage.
3-on-3 is the future of the basketball, and it is an Olympic sport, and it is an important thing, and that will help the young Indian basketball players to nurture their talent, and in coming time definitely they will showcase their talent at the world level too. With camera person Manmohan, Narayan Singh, DD India, Delhi.
And now let's talk about Indian domestic cricket. Mumbai cruised to a 9-wicket win over Chhattisgarh in the Vijay Hazare Trophy thanks to a fiery start from Shardul Thakur and a match-turning spell from S. Mulane. Thakur struck early, removing 4 top-order batters inside 5 overs before Mulane claimed his maiden List A fifer to dismantle the lower order. Despite a fighting 105-run stand between skipper Amandeep Khare and Ajay Mandal, Chhattisgarh folded for a modest modest total. In reply, Mumbai's chase was anchored by A. Raghuvanshi's fluent 68 not out and Siddhesh Lad's unbeaten 48, guiding the team home in just 24 overs. The victory marked Mumbai's third consecutive triumph this season. In tennis, Nick Kyrgios defeated world number 1 Arna Sabalenka 6-3, 6-3 in a lively Battle of the Sexes exhibition at Dubai's Coca-Cola Arena. Played before a sold-out crowd, the contest featured modified rules, including a one-serve per point format and a smaller court on Sabalenka's side. Kyrgios broke for a 4-3 lead to claim the opening set and rallied from 1-3 down in the second set to secure victory. Former Wimbledon finalist showcased his flair and resilience despite recent injury setbacks. Sabalenka entertained fans with her energy, making the match a memorable spectacle. On to chess now. World number 1 Magnus Carlsen extended his dominance on the world stage as he clinched his 6th World Rapid Championship title at the FIDE World Rapid Blitz Chess Championships in Qatar. The Norwegian finished the tournament with 10.5 points, securing his 19th World Championship title overall, ahead of Russia's Vladislav Artemev, who ended just 1 point behind. Carlsen had a frustrating second day, drawing with Maxime Vachier-Lagrave before losing to Artemev. However, Carlsen didn't leave room for any late hiccups as he took a full point lead into his final round against Dutch Anish Giri, sealing the title with a draw. For India, Arjun Ergyasi and Koneru Hampe won bronze medals in the open and women's sections respectively. Defending champion Koneru Hampe had tied for the first place, scoring 8.5 points, the same as Goryachkina Zhu-Jine. However, both had superior tie-break scores. Had Hampe secured a full point, she would have finished on 9 points and made history by winning her 3rd World Rapid Chess title, something no woman player has achieved so far. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated these Indian grandmasters, Koneru Hampe and Arjun Ergyasi, on winning bronze medals at the FIDE Rapid Chess Championship in Doha. In a post on X, PM Modi wrote, "Proud of Arjun Ergyasi for winning the bronze medal in the open section at the FIDE World Rapid Chess Championship in Doha. His grit is noteworthy. Wishing him the very best for his future endeavours." Congratulations to Koneru Hampe, who finished strongly at the 2025 FIDE World Rapid Chess Championship in Doha, securing the bronze medal in the women's section. Her dedication towards the game is commendable. Best wishes for the future endeavours ahead. So that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And for those on the go, you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates from India and the world. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.